Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is Anna from Astralladytarot, and today I am showing you a little bit of a weird video. It's kind of a collage research along with me. Please do so in the comments because I don't claim to know everything, absolutely not. Into a lot of the birds in the tarot cards that we like to use. What do they mean? Manly P. Hall, with his book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, has got me questioning whether the birds we are looking at in our beloved tarot cards, which we think we know, but there's always more to learn, right? There's always more to discover and to dive into. This is just yet another rabbit hole that I'm sharing with you. Whether those birds are truly the birds that they seem to be, or if they are all secretly phoenixes. Let's dive in. This is such a weird setup, but I'm in this white box that is now my home since I repainted everything white. As you can see, this is a beamer. Works really well on a starch white wall, but it kind of gives the impression of I'm in the void or something. Although my void, the way that I imagine it, it would be black, dark, pitch black, not white. Although, to each his own. Let's pick up the Book of Thoth because I have something to dive into right off the bat. I believe I know that in alchemy especially, and therefore in the very alchemical Thoth deck, we do see phoenixes, right? Although the name is interchanged, I think, for the phoenix or hawk or even eagle, actually eagle, that we see in the Lover's card and the Art card. You can actually dive into both of these cards in a video that I've made earlier this year, because instead of getting numerologically my year card to be the Arcanum number 14, I kind of went back an entire cycle this year and found myself at the number 6 once more. Usually, after having had last year be the Arcanum number 13, the Death card, a lot of the times you are right to expect the next year would be simply one number higher, Arcanum 14, except it was not. It was the 6. So what does that mean? So I talk about that. It's a little bit of a personal, talk, I guess, discussion. But then also I talk about the differences in these cards and a little bit into the symbolism, because obviously the Thoth deck is heavy on symbolism. We start with the Lovers here, where we have the alchemical red lion, which is about masculine energy, and the white eagle, which is about feminine energy. And here they come together, they merge. Later on in the process, because of course the tarot, the book of life, is a process, they switch colors, because this is where the mixing happens. This is where the art of alchemy, which is why this arcanum is named art in my beliefs. This is where the mixing happens, the art of alchemy. And so they have switched colors. The lion is now white and the eagle is now red. So let's quickly look up the Lovers, what Crowley wrote down about them. Okay, here we go. So we have two royal persons in the middle, right? The two adults. He is accompanied by the red lion and she by the white eagle. These are symbols of the male and female principles in nature. They are therefore equally in various stages of manifestation: sun and moon, fire and water, air and earth. And definitely here in the art card, they basically switched places because they are now intertwined. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think none of these books about these decks, although maybe the Crow's Magic Tarot, because I'm also using this one for this video as an example, have phoenixes in them. I think in certain tarot decks there must be the symbolism of the phoenix or the mention of the phoenix, but so far, at least in the Thoth, I have a feeling we're always talking about hawk or eagle or pelican or maybe even stork or ibis bird. Heron is a possibility for phoenix. I've even found owl online and the peacock. So I'm not going to try to convince you or prove to you in any way that all of these birds are actually supposed to be phoenixes or actually secretly carry the meaning of the phoenix, which of course is about rebirth and coming out of their own flames. It's about renewal, about regeneration, immortality, healing. All of that, including eternal fire, is incorporated into the phoenix symbolism. There are many different places in the book where Manly P. Hall talks about the phoenix. There are different things assigned to different birds, whether they are in the earthly realm or they are mythical creatures. Cruelty was signified by the buzzard, courage by the eagle, self-sacrifice by the pelican, and pride by the peacock. The ability of birds to leave the earth and fly aloft towards the source of light has resulted in their being associated with aspiration, purity, beauty. Wings were therefore often added to various terrene creatures in an effort to suggest transcendency, just like the Pegasus, I guess, horses with wings. The phoenix on its nest of flames. The phoenix is the most celebrated of all the symbolic creatures fabricated by the ancient mysteries for the purpose of concealing the great truth of esoteric philosophy. So I think there's definitely truth in what I'm suggesting, that the phoenix, the eagle, the pelican, and the ibis bird are all phoenixes. Medieval Hermetists regarded the phoenix as a symbol of the accomplishment of alchemical transmutation, a process equivalent to human regeneration, right? Because of course the phoenix rises up from his own flames. He is reborn every time. The familiar pelican feeding its young from its own breast, just like the pelican is doing in the Thoth Empress card and in many other well-known, drawings and seals and paintings, is in reality a phoenix. So the familiar pelican is a phoenix, a fact which can be confirmed by an examination of the head of the bird. The ungainly lower part of the pelican's beak is entirely missing, the head of the phoenix being far more like that of an eagle than of a pelican. In the mysteries, it was customary to refer to initiates as phoenixes or men who had been born again. The phoenix is a fitting symbol of spiritual birth or rebirth. And then he goes into occult and masonic symbols. The so-called American eagle was chosen as an emblem of the great, powerful, progressive people of America. And Manly P. Hall is saying that this eagle is actually a phoenix and is almost like in a more simplified form. So the flames are gone, the longer beak is gone, anything mystical is gone. It really looks a lot like an eagle. But then basically the eagle is the new face of the phoenix. In a colored sketch submitted as a design for the Great Seal, an actual phoenix appears sitting upon a nest of flames. This itself demonstrates a tendency towards the use of this emblematic bird. There's definitely the presence of Masonic and occult influences in the time this Great Seal was designed. All-seeing eye, also very Masonic influences. This book is falling apart. Here we go. Next to the hand of the mysteries, there is the jewel of the Rose Croix. Here we clearly see a bird that looks like a pelican and is feeding its young from his own breast, so it's feeding blood. The pelican feeding its young from a self-inflicted wound in its own breast is accepted as an appropriate symbol of both sacrifice and resurrection. To the Christian mystic, the pelican signifies Christ, but the pelican can also be representative of the sun, who of course brings life. Basically, the act of the pelican feeding her young her own blood is the act of resurrecting them, because the father pelican had killed his own young, and the mother then feeds them their own blood to resurrect them. to either feed them her own blood or to pour the blood over them so they would be raised once more. So where did I even find that so many different birds from all around the world or all over the globe all carry the symbolism of being a phoenix? The earthly birds basically all carry the same symbolism, that they all are a face or an aspect of what we understand the phoenix to be. I got this from, I think, somewhere online, and I'll try to find it because it's not in this book apparently. I've looked now. Every part of the world has its own earthly phoenix, if you understand what I'm saying. So what does this tell us? Is it really in the Thoth Death card in the upper left corner? Is that an eagle? Because it looks like an eagle to us, right? Except wouldn't it make much, much more sense for it to be a phoenix? And I don't know, maybe there are some books out there where they explain this to be a phoenix, but the books that I have, they explain this kind of a shadowy figure as an eagle. And this has its own symbolism, carries its own symbolism, or it's very similar to the phoenix as we know it today. But wouldn't it make much more sense for it to be a phoenix, reborn in the process of rebirth, you know, rising from its own ashes in the death card? Because it doesn't mean death. It means transformation. It means the rebirth. It is all about that. So it would make much more sense to see a phoenix in there, don't you agree? Okay, so here's another collage piece. It sounds like it's time for us to find out what the symbolism of the eagle truly is. Right, so I got my little book here, The Hidden Language of Symbols. And in here, it's a little bit hard for me to show you, we have an eagle with a very short description. It says, the eagle symbolizes, together with the falcon, the god of heaven. Online, I have found that the eagle is all about the powers and messages of spirit. So it's our connection as human beings to the divine, really, because this bird, the eagle, flies higher than any other bird. Therefore, it brings with it the meaning of freedom and courage to look ahead. On top of that, the eagle is symbolic of honesty and truth. What about, yes, of course, the Thoth, but also the older Marseille decks? We see the seal in the Empress card and in the Emperor card. They both have a phoenix or an eagle or a pelican. It's all the same. And then even in the Triomphe de la Luna, my favorite deck, I have the paradoxical version that I talk about all the time. In the Empress card, we have a bird that very much looks like a peacock, which is also a version of the phoenix. So what exactly does this tell us? Every time we see a bird, because it doesn't really matter at this point what type of bird it is. I think I've named a few of the most known ones that we see all the time, but actually it can be any bird, because just the fact that they can fly, just the fact that they have wings, brings up that connection to spirituality, to the realm that is above our knowledge, and in the sky, in the heavens, you could say, where we gradually grow up to be. What was the beginning of that sentence? This always happens to me. Any bird can signify the phoenix. You know what I mean? So look at your tarot decks. Look at every single card. Where else do we have a bird? And what does it mean now? Like, we have a bird in the Rider-Waite-Smith and Marseille star cards. I always saw that bird as a freedom bird. We have a bird on the arm of the lady in the Nine of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. The Crow's Magic Tarot, all about different types of birds, but I know that there must be some phoenixes in there as well. I will look them up. But this kind of may be cheating because it's a deck full of birds. But yeah, basically what I'm trying to unravel here is just the possibility of every bird carrying in itself the symbolism of the phoenix, right, as we know it today, but then also maybe debunking some explanations of esoteric symbolism in maybe especially the Thoth deck, because it's so heavy on the symbolism, but include the Tarot de Marseille obviously, and include the Rider-Waite-Smith with that as well, why not? Or any other deck, as I'm doing now with the Crow's Magic Tarot, why not? But I'd say especially the older decks, more traditional decks that are heavy on the occult symbolism, and try to maybe see if they are right. Maybe we can debunk this mystery of what the birds mean and what birds we are actually looking at in the first place. Is it an eagle? Is it a pelican? Is it a peacock? You know, in the Knight of Cups of the Thoth, is it a peacock? Or is it actually supposed to be just a different version of a phoenix? And then what does it mean? Now all I want to do is just to go through a few cards of my favorite decks that we can read differently if we see them as the bird that they represent, but also on top of that, the phoenix symbolism. So I already mentioned, if I collaged this video together well, the death card in the Thoth deck. Right here we have this eagle in the top corner. And imagine if this would be a phoenix. This definitely fits with the death card, because then we get the full spectrum of what death means, or what transformation really means. Is the death of one thing automatically means the rebirth of something else, or the birth of something else. And by that logic, you could say that obviously this energy is reborn into something new, into simply a new form. The energy has not gone anywhere, it just transformed. That makes sense with the death card, doesn't it? And this is what my camera looks like without the lights. So I have this wonderful book by Phyllis Seckler. Thank you again, James, for recommending this book to me, because it really is a gem. I'm not through it all the way yet, but I wanted to include her explanation of the eagle in the death card of the Thoth deck, because I really, really love that. The third and highest aspect of Scorpio, because of course Scorpio is the sign for the death card, the Trump 13, is the eagle, which soars into the upper atmosphere and is exalted above the world of matter. This is a symbol of the soul set free from the confinements of material life. It also symbolizes the event of astral travel, when the soul is free to roam the universe without the disadvantage of a physical body. I really, really like that. So I'm not finished considering the phoenix aspect of every card, but I understand the symbolism of the eagle a little bit more. Then the pelican in the Empress, very much feeding her blood to her young, or at least if we can link the masonic or Rosicrucian symbolism with this one. Obviously, these two together with the emperor, they both have this crest with either two-headed eagles or phoenixes, or two phoenixes on both cards. Now, the two-headed phoenix, because I think that's what it is, and look, whether you think it's a phoenix or any other bird, it's going to be the same anyway, because it's kind of like the earthly version of this mythical creature, the phoenix. So basically I'm saying all of these birds are interchangeable with the phoenix symbolism. The two-headed birds, not two-headed dog, but two-headed birds, they mean that there already has been this coming together of forces, of energies, because looking at them in sequence, and they are actually quite literally looking at one another. Look at that. They have found one another, and the masculine energy needs the feminine energy, and the feminine energy needs the masculine energy. That is how we as human beings, or as spiritual beings, become one, because that is also why the world or the universe card is a hermaphrodite. that is because that is our goal. Our goal as human or spiritual or whatever beings, our souls really, the goal of our souls is to understand all of these parts of ourselves. This is very much an alchemical process. It's about finding the philosopher's stone. It's about doing the great work. It's about alchemy, and it's about shadow work also. Why not? About integration. We can put all of that under the same umbrella. We are trying to understand ourselves, and by doing so, we understand the world a little bit better. Or vice versa. It's all the same damn thing anyway. And we can see that in the sense of we are trying to complete our energy field with equal amounts of masculine or feminine energy, or we can see that as we are trying to find all of those shadowy parts of ourselves like a broken mirror and then put them back together. Put some glue on there, fix the cracks, and you can finally see your full reflection in there, which is also what I believe the tarot does. The tarot cards all reflect a little part of ourselves back to us. So I guess there's the symbolism in the Empress and the Emperor. What could it be in the Queen of Cups though? Obviously there the mirror effect is very strong because she does mirror ourselves. So I would personally read this as, in my personal opinion, the mirage that she is, because she is just so very veiled and mysterious. It's a question of, is she even there? But the bird would then represent, for me at least, the hidden parts of yourself. And now is the time to find them again and basically shine a light on them so that they can come out of the shadows and be a part of your psyche and yourself once more. This is an interesting one. The Knight of Cups with the peacock. The peacock, a very beautiful bird. So this is definitely also about that pride, right? The pride that this peacock represents. But in the sense with the Knight of Cups, especially in this dynamic card with so much movement, it's so beautiful. It looks like an angel. I do see that eternal fire in there. So there is that flame that just doesn't seem to go out no matter what. I see the Knight of Cups as an energy that really never dies because love is its motivation. And there's plenty of that around for this guy. Let's look up the Fool because I have a feeling there's definitely a phoenix in there, all right? This is interesting. Behind this dove of Venus, Isis or Mary is what Crowley writes, there is the vulture of Maut. Let's see what the Thoth Companion says about this. I appreciate this book because they don't deviate too much from what Crowley already says. They just kind of put everything in order, which I've been told is what the Lon Milo Duquette book does. So here definitely they're saying a dove, a vulture, and a butterfly fly towards the fool's heart. The dove signifies the descent of spirit into matter, just like we see in the Ace of Cups of the Rider-Waite-Smith. The dove, which is attributed to Venus, is a feminine symbol, and the rays of light indicate the masculine influence of Yod. Therefore, the dove is a sexually complete symbol, a hermaphrodite. Sound familiar? The vulture represents Mut, and I will not get too much into that, but that name means mother, and this entity was believed to possess both the male and female powers of reproduction, and was therefore considered to be the creator of all things, which fits, of course, the Fool energy. This had its basis in the belief that there were no male vultures, and the female vultures were impregnated by the wind's air. All right, so it doesn't have a lot to do with Phoenix, but it could have, right? We know the Fool, especially as the zero, is a part of the sequence of the tarot. You know, in Marseille decks where the Fool is the unnumbered arcanum, it's definitely the outcast. It's definitely like almost an extra card. It is the jester, it is the joker. And here the Fool is actually nothing and everything at the same time, which means the beginning and the end at the same time. So the very beginning of the journey is almost the same as the result of the journey, which I see in what the phoenix means, right? Because it's the eternal life and the rebirth and all of that. It's safe to say that here it's the masculine and feminine coming together, right? This is the eagle that we tend to see in Emperor cards. Here we have our phoenix, with all of that culminated power of the element of fire coming from the wands in the Ten of Wands. Here with the El Gran Tarot Esoterico in the Four of Cups, we see a young eagle breaking his egg. Now, this is a funny thing. It's a Picard system, and this was supposed to be a young eagle breaking out of its own egg. But here we see a young eagle breaking an egg. Anyway, this is a birth, obviously. Even with the symbol of Gemini, it's about childhood, fertility. By the way, in this system, the cups are the element of air. But you know, the eagle being used to represent a birth, it does kind of reminisce the rebirth, obviously. Although at this point, it probably is the end, and then the rebirth is next, isn't it? I don't know. I don't have any Robin and Place books yet at this point, but if you know, let me know. Just letting you know that this is a card that you can see a phoenix in as well. See what you make of that. And the Rider-Waite-Smith Fool has an eagle's head on his satchel, which, you know, the eagle obviously can mean this pride, but because Manly P. Hall has convinced me that, especially the eagle, because after all, he was focusing on the English-speaking world and then America, the whole basis of America, basically how that country was built, has the eagle as their own emblem. And he convinced me that it actually really supposed to be a phoenix. Now, looking at this eagle's head as a phoenix obviously holds to me the same symbolism as I just explained in this Fool card. And isn't that interesting? Don't you think that this is actually a possibility? Even though Crowley didn't write, as far as I know, anything about phoenixes, that clearly at least about phoenixes. I don't think he ever really truly names the phoenix unless I completely missed it. Please let me know. This is exactly what I'm saying, right? In the Book of Thoth or in his writings. But knowing Crowley, he might just have used the many earthly versions and representations almost of the mythical creature of the phoenix in the cards. The way that Lady Frida Harris painted the eagle or the bird in the death card, he's writing about it as it's an eagle, but he might have meant phoenix anyway. I think it's time for a break. Let me refill my drink and switch to the B-sides for more weird rabbit holes. Hello, let's keep going with this collage. I hope you're still enjoying yourself. I am. In the Thoth, we do obviously have phoenixes, but they are in the form of ceremonial wands. These wands are actually ceremonial staffs used by the Golden Dawn. See that? With this head of a phoenix. These staffs are painted gold. This head is actually supposed to represent the head of the god Set. Knight of Pentacles, I was talking about this card. This could be a phoenix, like the 9 is the end of the work. Obviously, this bird has that little bonnet, or however it's called, so that he is blind and is captive, because I see her in this very safe garden of abundance, definitely, that she has worked for, but it kind of does look like this bird does signify the promise of this free future and this new beginning in the next chapter. So imagine just taking off its blindfolds, I guess, and then letting it wild and free and loose, just like in the Star card. I see this bird as a phoenix, and I am pretty sure, okay, I have read somewhere that this bird is read as a phoenix, is interpreted in a sense of a phoenix, because there he goes. He has his little wings all ready to take flight, and actually also has this pretty long beak in this deck, which could again be a nudge to the ibis bird. And obviously the star is all about starting over again, going for your dreams, and truly pursuing that freedom. So that being a phoenix makes sense as well. We have a lot of winged creatures here, which really mean different things. There is one in particular, the bird, obviously, but as I said before, Manly P. Hall suggests every creature with wings has this extra power, I guess, of illumination. Next, I'm just going to flip through another one of my favorite decks. This is the Crow's Magic Tarot, few cards where I think you could read it as a phoenix. Then again, we have this very fiery bird in the Death card. Would make sense as a phoenix. The Temperance. Again, I didn't even do this on purpose. Temperance. Yeah, art card, Arcanum 14. Also looks like could signify phoenix. Then I got the King of Wands. Why not? It's obviously the airy part of fire. Then I got 3 cards, which I most definitely want to read in the booklet of the Crow's Magic Tarot, because I have a feeling all of these are phoenixes, are supposed to be that. So let's do this, okay? I want to start with the 7 of Swords. I just can't help it. Let's try and find it in this. This is my booklet. It's a printout of copies of every page. Actually, not even copies, but pictures, photographs of the book, the big book, large book, that I don't have. I can't believe I found that so quickly. This is supposed to be a crane, which, without a doubt, also is seen in some regions of the world as the earthly phoenix. In this deck, this card is a lot about wishes coming true, hard work and efforts bring deserved rewards. Interesting. 4 of Swords. I knew it. I knew it. I was right. 4 of Swords. And for people who have this weird-ass deck, let me know if there are other cards that I may have missed that actually are phoenixes as well in the booklet. So I knew this was a phoenix. I just knew it. Okay, but doesn't it look like an eagle? It looks exactly like an eagle. So there you go. There's my proof right there. No, okay. 4 of Swords card frames a phoenix rising from the ashes. Challenge and strife seem ridiculous once you realize that becoming who you are leaves no need for competition. Being true to self is not about competing. Instead, it means a focus on evolution and self-actualization. Don't we all love that? We love you, 4 of Swords. And I really like the symmetry. And yet there's just that little blue-green planet right there. Might be us, actually, on Earth. Bringing things into perspective. Yeah, shedding old skin. And then obviously also about rest. Cannot forget about the traditional meaning of the 4 of Swords. Okay, that was interesting. Let's go for the Queen of Swords. I freaking knew that this card was going to be a mystery to be unveiled, because the mythical bird, at least I think it's a mythical bird that is shown here, I have never heard of. This is the Archetypes. It's a dinosaur? This bird has been extinct for 150 million years. And this bird is one of the oldest known birds and oldest known flying dinosaurs. Its length, I only know metric system, is 51 centimeters from head to tail. Well, certainly resurrected here in my tarot deck. Let's see. The theme of this card is the beauty of the setting. You are seeing what you believe it to be. We don't have to know the answer to everything. That's an interesting explanation for the Queen of Swords, but I get it. Understood by each individual. I wouldn't really say that. I see the Queen of Swords as very misunderstood, although once we are unveiling, taking away some of these bias and prejudice, then I do think on this deeper level, there is that intuition part of the Queen of Swords that we all understand. And intelligence combined with sensitivity and compassion. Interesting. Okay, Six of Cups. It doesn't say which bird this is, which is interesting because in most of the other cards it does say so, but doesn't it make sense with the Six of Cups, which is all about nostalgia, looking back through time? It's like reconnecting to old situations and things that happened to us, old memories, and so we are kind of bringing new life to them by thinking about them. It's this time travel. That's what I think. Okay, this is an eagle. Yeah, this is supposed to be an eagle. The eagle wonders what he will become when reincarnated. I'm telling you, there's something there in every deck. It's almost like every bird is supposed to be a phoenix. Which is the conclusion of this video. There was apparently no need to watch this entire video. Kidding, I like all the rabbit holes. The explorations, am I right? Okay. He thinks about how interesting it would be to come back as a kingly lion or a powerful bear. Suddenly, it hits him. In all the years he spent wanting to be something else, he could have accomplished so much simply by being an eagle. Yikes. What was the worst that could have happened? Death? Unfortunately, while trying to make sense of it all, he is struck by lightning and only ash remains. Girl. Then obviously I got my Triomphe della Luna, Emperor and Empress, who both have one of these strange bird thingies. Now alright, so fine. This is not a bird. But he does have a winged little devil scepter. And he looks like a bird himself, so he could actually be the phoenix symbolism of this card. And then here, obviously, as I said in an older video, the one about the pregnancy questions, this demon creature friend of the Empress definitely looks like a peacock-inspired creature to me. And so there you go. They both have this phoenix-ish alchemical symbolism in this deck. Another one that I wanted to end with is another death card, or actually rather Arcanum number 13, because nowhere on this card does it say death, does it? The way that I like it, honestly. There is this little tiny bird here, which I always see as a hummingbird. And I wanted to end with this one because I don't think that this mighty, mythical, magical creature, the phoenix, necessarily needs to be a huge, large bird. There is a lot of beauty and strength in the smaller things as well. The things that are discreet, the things that we just don't notice that easily, still can carry a lot of power and force and change the world. I think none of this is trivial, so I hope you find a little bit of extra symbolism in the birds in your decks. Even if you have a bird deck, go through the cards and see which ones could be phoenixes and then why, and what does that give you. So I think that's it for the deep dive today. Thanks so much for being here. Once more, let me know in the comments what you think of this and if I've missed any phoenixes in the decks that I've shown, or if there are any other decks with phoenixes in them, and then what do they represent? Maybe it's something different in each culture. That's very possible. So leave a like if you like this video. If you've enjoyed this one, I will link another one in the screen that I'm pretty sure you will enjoy as well. If you are new here, please let me know in the comments as well so I can properly welcome you to this online space. I want to say a special thank you to my Patreons. Thank you guys so much for supporting this work, and I will see you all in the next one.